Good morning, everyone. My name is Officer Angie Bennett, and I am a police officer for the Huntington Beach Police Department. I've been a police officer for about 18 years, which is a really long time. But the coolest thing about being a police officer is you get to do so many different jobs. Right now, my job is to talk to people on TV, like on the media, or to talk to people on social media, like what you're watching us do this on right now. But I've done lots of other things, such as work on patrol. I worked all night long a lot. I worked in a detective unit that was really fun. I got to work on the beach. I've done all kinds of things. So if you are ever thinking about being a police officer, there's so many different things that you can do. If you're a police officer, you could have a police dog, you could drive a helicopter or fly a helicopter, you could ride on a horse, you could work on the SWAT team, you could be on a motorcycle. There's so many different things you can do, and it's a really great job. So some of the books that we're going to read today are going to talk about some of those different assignments. So I hope you're excited and you're ready to watch as I read along. The very first book is called Officer Buckle and Gloria. Are you guys ready? Officer Buckle knew more safety tips than anyone else in Knappville. Every time he thought of a new one, he thumbtacked it to his bulletin board. Safety tip number 77, never stand on a swivel chair. Uh-oh, looks like he might have stood on a swivel chair and he's starting to fall off. Look at all those notes. There's an awful lot of safety tips that we all have to remember, huh? Officer Buckle shared his safety tips with the students at Knappville School. Nobody ever listened. Sometimes there was snoring. Look at this kid right here. He's completely falling asleep. They're not even paying attention. This little girl dropped her yogurt on the ground. Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to clean that up, huh? Afterward, it was business as usual. Mrs. Topple, the principal, took down the welcome banner. Never stand on a swivel chair, said Officer Buckle, but Mrs. Topple didn't hear him. There she is. She's standing on that swivel chair. Looks like she might topple down herself. And there's a boy that didn't tie his shoes, and he's falling down too. Doesn't seem like anyone's listening to the officer, are they? Then one day, Knappville's police department bought a police dog named Gloria. There she is, right there. When it was time for Officer Buckle to give the safety speech at the school, Gloria went along. How cool would that be if you guys got to see a police dog at your school? I bet you the children were going to be really excited. Children, this is Gloria, announced Officer Buckle. Gloria obeys my commands. Gloria, sit. And Gloria sat. There she is, right there, and she looks so happy when she's doing it too. Do your dogs sit when you tell them to sit? Officer Buckle gave safety tip number 1. Keep your shoelaces tied. The children sat up and stared. This one doesn't even have his shoelaces tied, but now at least this girl's listening. I wonder why they're listening. What's going on back here? Officer Buckle checked to see if Gloria was sitting at attention. She was. She's being such a good dog. Safety tip number 2, said Officer Buckle. Always wipe up spills before someone slips and falls. The children's eyes popped. That means they got super excited and really started paying attention. What is the dog doing? What is Gloria doing right now? Oh boy, we better pay attention to see what she's doing back there. Officer Buckle checked on Gloria again. Good dog, he said. Officer Buckle thought of a safety tip he had discovered that morning. Gloria's such a good dog. Never leave a thumbtack where you might sit on it. The audience roared. They're so excited. What is going on back here? That Gloria, she's quite the dog, huh? Officer Buckle grinned. He said the rest of the tips with plenty of expression. The children clapped their hands and cheered. Some of them laughed until they cried. Officer Buckle was surprised. He had never noticed how funny safety tips could be. After this safety speech, there wasn't a single accident. Officer Buckle is very excited now. The next day, an enormous envelope arrived at the police station. It was stuffed with thank you letters from the students at Knappville School. Look at all of those letters. Have you guys ever written a letter to anyone to say thank you? It's such a good idea to do right now when we're all at home. Every letter had a drawing of Gloria on it. Officer Buckle thought the drawing showed a lot of imagination. This one says, "Dear Gloria and Officer Buckle, thanks for coming to our school. You are nice. Your friend George." And it looks like Gloria's standing up. And this one, it looks like Gloria's sitting down. And this one, it looks like Gloria's rolling all over the place. His favorite letter was written on a star-shaped piece of paper. It said, "You and Gloria make a good team. Your friend Claire. P.S. I always wear a crash helmet. Safety tip number 7. Wow, so it looks like Claire is listening to the safety tips now. And she's got on a helmet, so if she falls, she doesn't hurt her head. Like when you go bike riding. Or even on your scooter." Officer Buckle was thumbtacking Claire's letter to his bulletin board when the phone started ringing. Grade schools, high schools, and daycare centers were calling about the safety speech. "Officer Buckle," they said, "our students want to hear your safety tips, and please bring along that police dog." Look at all these people who are now calling Officer Buckle. He must feel very proud that his speeches are going over so well, huh? Officer Buckle told his safety tips to 313 schools. Everywhere he and Gloria went, children sat up and listened. There he is talking to the students, and what is Gloria doing in the background? She is just crazy. It seems like maybe Gloria is the star of the show, but I don't think Officer Buckle knows. Shh, don't tell him. After every speech, Officer Buckle took Gloria for ice cream. Officer Buckle loved having a buddy. Even when Officer Buckle's getting ice cream, look what Gloria's doing. She's giving out autographs. She's so silly. Then one day, a television news team videotaped Officer Buckle in the State College auditorium. Wow, look at all those people. Officer Buckle must be so excited. When he finished safety tip number 99, "Do not go swimming during electrical storms," the students jumped to their feet and applauded. Oh, it looks like Gloria got electrocuted right here. She's quite the actress. "Bravo, bravo," they cheered. Officer Buckle bowed again and again. That night, Officer Buckle watched himself on the 10 o'clock news. Looks like Gloria might be getting discovered pretty soon that she's the star of the show. Officer Buckle's eating his popcorn, but I think he's about to find out what's really been going on behind his back. The next day, the principal of Knappville School telephoned the police station. "Good morning, Officer Buckle. It's time for our safety speech." Officer Buckle frowned. "I'm not giving any more speeches. Nobody looks at me anyway." "Oh," said Mrs. Topple. "Well, how about Gloria? Could she come?" It looks like Officer Buckle's doing a little bit of pouting down here, huh? Looks like he's feeling kind of sad for himself. Someone else from the police station gave Gloria a ride to the school. Gloria sat on stage looking lonely. Then she fell asleep. So did the audience. After Gloria left, Knappville School had its biggest accident ever. I wonder what happened. Poor Gloria, she feels so sad without her partner, huh? It started with a puddle of banana pudding. Splat, splatter, sploosh! Everyone slid smack into Mrs. Topple, who screamed and let go of her hammer. Whoa, look at what's going on. There's Mrs. Topple, there goes her hammer, and there's a thumbtack, and I think somebody's about ready to sit on it. And there's all that banana pudding down there. We thought it was yogurt, but turns out it was banana pudding. The next morning, a pile of letters arrived at the police station. Every letter had a drawing of the accident. Officer Buckle was shocked. At the bottom of the pile was a note written on a paper star. Officer Buckle smiled. The note said, "Gloria missed you yesterday. Your friend, Claire. P.S. Don't worry. I was wearing my helmet. Safety tip number 7. It looks like Claire was still listening. What a good girl." Gloria gave Officer Buckle a big kiss on the nose. Officer Buckle gave Gloria a nice pat on the back. Then Officer Buckle thought of his best safety tip yet. Oh, they look so happy. Safety tip number 101. Always stick with your buddy. Oh, look at them together. It turns out they were nothing when they were alone, but together they were everything. I wonder if you guys have a friend like that. The end. Okay, looks like we have some questions.
We have a question from Barbara. She asks, Do you get to work with police dogs?
Hi, Barbara. I do get to work with police dogs sometimes. Right now, I don't get to as much, but one of the ways that I get to work with police dogs is I'm not a handler myself, nor have I ever been, but a lot of officers, when we go on calls, the police dogs will come and they will help. They'll help us try and find people that it might be a little dangerous for officers to go crawling into to try and find a person that we're looking for. This is a bad person, not just any person. So the police dogs will come and they'll come right next to us and they're very friendly with us. We don't touch them, we let them do their work, but the handler, that's the person who trains the dog and who is the dog's partner, it's a police officer. That person makes sure that the dog is ready and is ready to go find that bad guy. So it is pretty cool working with them. One time I even got to take a bite from a police dog in a special suit and it almost knocked me down. They're really strong, stronger than you would ever even imagine, but they're pretty cool. I love working with our police dogs.
We have another question from Linda. When and why did you decide to join the police force?
Hi, Linda. So that's a very long story and I won't bore you with all the details, but when I grew up, I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to do a lot of different things with my career. And then I went to college and I got out of college and I just decided that that career that I had chosen wasn't right for me. So I figured out that I wanted to do something where I could help people, but I also wanted to be able to write and investigate things. And so I came up with police work, and I have to tell you, I've never made a better decision in my life. I absolutely love being a police officer or love being a cop. A lot of people think that's not nice to say cop, but I always say I love being a cop. It was the best and most rewarding career I've ever done. So I originally got in it because I didn't want to sit in an office all day. I wanted to be out with the public. I wanted to talk with people. I wanted to help people. And it's a very exciting and fun job, and I highly recommend it for anybody who is looking for, something different and not always the same. It's a very rewarding career.
Caleb has a question for you. Caleb wants to know how long you have been a police officer. Also, do you like dinosaurs?
Hi, Caleb. I hope this is the Caleb I think it is. If it is, say hi to your brother Ryan. And I'm wondering if your big brother Brady's watching too. I bet you he's totally watching this story time. But let's see. I have been a police officer for almost 18 years and I love dinosaurs. But let me say, I don't want to run into one. If I had to run into a dinosaur on the street, I might call you to try and help save me.
We also have a comment from Sadie, who's 8 years old. She says, I've always wanted to be a police officer when I grow up.
Hi, Sadie. I really hope that you do. It's a really, really fun thing to do. And one of the ways that you can make sure that you're going to be a good police officer is to listen to your teachers, listen to your parents, try and do your very best at making sure you don't get into a lot of trouble and that you study hard. So it's something that a lot of different people can do. We need all kinds of people who want to be police officers, people that are athletic and people who are interested in listening to people and people who know how to talk to people and people who know how to write. So there are some really, really good things that you can do if you want to be a police officer too. And if you want, you can have your mom send me an email and I'll come meet with you at some time. Okay, should we go to the next book? The next book is called Keeping You Safe, a book about police officers. And this book was written by Ann Owen. Many people in the community have jobs helping others. What do police officers do? Here's a police officer wearing his uniform. We don't usually wear hats, but sometimes we can. But they have a lot of different things on their belts, a lot of different tools that help them during their work. A police officer teaches us when to call 911 and to be careful around strangers. What does your badge say? So this is a police officer teaching students, but there's also people that answer the phone calls from 911, and those are called dispatchers. And those are the people that the first thing when you call and you're scared and you don't know what's going on, they're the ones who calm you down and make sure they get all the information to send the police officers. Maybe later you can talk to your parents about when you should call 911 if there's ever an emergency. A police officer walks down the street or drives a patrol car. Good morning. This officer is saying hello to a mom and her daughter, and this officer is talking to someone on the radio. They might be talking to their partner, another police officer, or they might be wanting to talk to one of the dispatchers. Some police officers ride horses. Some police officers teach bicycle safety. I wear a helmet too. We have many different officers who ride on horses, and it's really cool. That is a pretty cool assignment. I'll say that if you ever see police officer horses and you see them up close, and if it's at something like our open house where it's an appropriate time to come say hello to a police officer on a horse, they love saying hi to kids. So ask your parents if that's something you could do. This little boy says he wears a helmet too. Do you guys wear helmets when you ride bikes? Make sure you do, because that's the safest way to do it. Police officers work with partners. Here's 2 officers who are talking on their shift. Some police officers have police dogs as partners. Stay, Laser. We talked a little bit about the police dogs earlier and how cool they are and how helpful they can be to all of us. A police officer helps you if you get lost. Don't worry, we'll find your mom. This little girl is probably very scared if she lost her mom or her dad, and if she's lost and she can't find her mom or dad. But if you ever get lost, you definitely want to try and find a police officer or someone that can help you find your parents. A police officer makes sure everyone is okay and takes notes about what happened. Right here, this police officer is talking to someone in the car. It looks like they got into a crash, but thank goodness she was wearing her seatbelt. That's the very, very best thing that you can do every time you get into the car. And you always want to listen to your parents when they say you should get into your car seat. It's very important. Police officers look for clues. Here are some fingerprints. Another part of being in police work is somebody called a CSI officer, and those are crime scene investigator officers. They go to school and get very specific type of training, and they learn how to find fingerprints when we touch things. So if I touch this, I leave a fingerprint, and they find the tools where you're able to collect those fingerprints and find out who a person is. A police officer speeds to the scene and catches people who break laws. Have you ever seen a police officer driving with his or her lights on? Sometimes they have a siren on too. The lights are blue and red. Sometimes we drive fast so we can get to places to make sure that the bad guys are taken care of. Police officers help keep us safe. Right here, this girl is holding her hand up to make sure the car stops so the people on the street can walk across the street safely. Make sure you don't ever walk out in front of a car and that you're using the crosswalks. The end. Looks like we have some more questions.
We have a question from Barbara. She asks, do you get to work with the police horses?
Hi, Barbara. It's the same working with the police horses as it is working with the police dogs. So I don't ride on a horse, but I do go right next to them. So I see them all the time and I'm around them, but I'm not one that's specifically riding a horse. I have no idea how to ride a horse. And if I was on a police horse, I would probably fall down. So I am definitely not the person that you want on the police horse. The officers that do ride them are very well trained and they're very, very good at what they do, and they get to have a pretty cool job doing that. You might see them sometime in a parade or downtown in Huntington Beach, or like I said, you could come to one of our open houses when we have one and you can meet our police horses there.
We have a question from Nikki. She asks, have you been surfing lately?
Nikki, I saw that question pop up and I knew it was you. Hi, Nikki. Nikki's one of our teacher friends, and I know you guys are all missing your teachers right now, and I know all your teachers are missing you too. So she's trying to get me to go out surfing, but kind of like riding a horse, I'm not really very good at it, but I need you to teach me. So soon we will go out and we'll go surfing.
We have a question from Jack. He says he wants to be a SWAT officer when he grows up. He would like to know what you carry on your police belt.
Hi, Jack. So being a SWAT officer is a very, very difficult job, but I know you can do it. Make sure you're doing lots of push-ups and make sure you're running a lot and you're staying in shape, because one day those will be very important things that you know how to do to be a SWAT officer. So on my police belt, I have a gun and I have different bullets and I have a taser and I have a radio. I have handcuffs. Sometimes I have a baton. So there's lots of different tools that we have that if we can't talk to somebody or somebody's not listening, that we have those tools to be able to help us. We don't like to use the tools as much as people sometimes think. We really like to try and talk to people and get people to understand what we're saying. And remember, the number one job of a police officer is to help people. So if you ever need help, make sure you ask for a police officer, or you try and talk to a police officer or even a firefighter to try and get some help.
We have another question, this time from Sadie. She wants to know what your assignment is since you don't ride horses or have a canine.
Hi, Sadie. So I am called the Public Information Officer, and for short, it's called the PIO. And so what I do is I sit behind a desk. It's kind of boring sometimes, but I sit behind a desk and I answer questions to people who have questions about things on the computer or online. So we have a lot of social media pages and people ask a lot of questions. This is something new that wasn't around when I first started police work. So it's kind of a nice thing that our community and people can see what we're doing as a police department. They can ask us questions about different things they don't understand. And I'm the person typically behind the screen who's answering those questions. Also, if there's something big that's going on, for instance, if there's an incident that happens and the news wants to cover what our police department is doing, I'm the person who will talk to the people you see on TV. If your parents are ever watching the news, those are the people I talk to share information with them so our residents and our community know what's going on here in Huntington Beach. All right, okay, I'm excited to read this book. Not that I haven't been excited to read all the books, but this was given to me by one of my friends who's a dispatcher at the Huntington Beach Police Department named Stacy. This book was written by Stacy's friend, and her name is Lisa Welcome. How exciting is this that not only does my friend know her, but also she's a local writer that's originally from Huntington Beach. So this is a pretty cool one. It's called Remarkable Reese, I Want to Be a Police Officer. My name is Reese. My mom and dad say I'm remarkable. Do you know what that means? Remarkable is a fancy word that means wonderful and amazing. I like knowing I'm amazing. I think you're amazing too. She looks like she's pretty happy, huh? My mom and dad tell me I'm smart, strong, and beautiful. They tell me I can be anything I want to be when I grow up. Do you know what you want to be? So this one is a doctor. This is Reese as an astronaut. This is Reese as a softball player. That's a good one. Here's Reese as a construction worker, a firefighter, a businesswoman. Here she is as a chef. Here she's a farmer, a nurse, and there she looks like she's a pilot. Looks like she could do anything. But sometimes I think I want to be a police officer, just like Officer Jen. So there's Reese pretending she's just like Officer Jen. And this is Officer Jen, who is an actual police officer that the author wrote this book about. Sometimes Officer Jen wears crazy socks. Do you ever wear crazy socks like Officer Jen? I know a police officer who does named Toby. He constantly wears crazy socks every single day at work. Officer Jen is busy helping people all over our town. She's holding out her hand like this because she wants people to stop. Just like in the last book, she doesn't want those kids to cross the street when there's cars coming because she doesn't want to get anyone hit by a car. I can always tell it's Officer Jen because I see her braid sticking out of the back of her helmet. I don't have a braid and I don't wear a helmet, but I do have a tiny little ponytail that comes out from the back of my head. Officer Jen wears a special uniform. Do you know what I like best about her uniform? Her shiny badge. We all get to wear these shiny badges, and we work very hard to get those badges, so they mean a lot to us. To me, it looks like Officer Jen's got these big, tall boots on. I'm gonna guess she rides a motorcycle. Let's see if that's true. Did you know there are different types of police officers? Some ride motorcycles like Officer Jen. I was right, she does. Some drive police cars. Some even ride horses. So there's Officer Jen on her motorcycle. There's a regular police car. And this is an officer riding on, looks like Officer Jen's getting on a horse too. She's very talented. Some officers have special dogs, police dogs as helpers. The fancy word for a police dog is canine. Here's an officer with her canine. Even the canine has a shiny badge. Do any of you have a little stuffed animal from the Huntington Beach Police Department, one of our canines? If you don't, you should get one. They're really cute. They're about this big and they look just like our little canines. Whenever I see Officer Jen, I wave and say hello. She always smiles and waves back. Police officers are your friends. They make sure you stay safe. I like Officer Jen because she's always happy and has a smile on her face. When I become a police officer, I will tell children that it's important to sit in their car seat and stay buckled up. Remember we said that earlier? Make sure you do that every time. Staying in your car seat will help you stay safe. Being safe makes officers happy. I will tell children that if there is ever an emergency, they can call 911. A police dispatcher will answer and help them right away. The police dispatcher might ask you for your address and phone number. This is a really good time for you guys to start learning your address and your phone number, so you can know that if you ever get separated from your parents or you need help, you'll be able to tell an adult how to get in touch with your parents. And this is the dispatcher I was telling you about earlier, the person who answers our phone calls and your phone calls too. So they sit behind a number of different computer screens, and they have lots of different information that they're supposed to be paying attention to at one time. It's kind of a tough job. It's important that you know your address and phone number. Do you know yours? When I grow up, I want to keep people safe, just like Officer Jen. I will wear a uniform and have a shiny badge. I think I will ride a motorcycle most of the time. And those motor officers, they keep those bikes super shiny. So you have to make sure that you have a nice shiny bike. To me, it looks like all these lines right here are showing how happy Jen is that she's riding a bike. And also, these little polish marks look to me like she's got a really clean bike. Maybe sometimes I will ride a horse. Police officers are remarkable, just like me and just like you. And there they are at the front of the police station. The end. There they go, riding away on their motorcycles.
We have
Okay.
a few more questions for you from Algeria. She asks, are you bilingual? Do you speak any other languages?
Well, not really. I used to work in a place called Chula Vista, and that is in San Diego County. And when I worked there, I spoke a little bit of Spanish, but I kind of lost my skills. So that's a tough one. I wish that I was a better Spanish speaker, but I'm not. And I do know my daughter wants to become proficient in sign language. So there's a whole bunch of different languages, and we do have a lot of officers who do have those skills. So we have officers who speak sign language and who can do Spanish, and there's a whole bunch of them that our officers speak to help you if you ever need it.
We have a question from Jenny. She says she's seen different canine stuffed animals from Huntington Beach around. How can she get one?
So as soon as I said that, I knew I would need to know. And I think that you can go to their Instagram page and buy them. I think it's at HBK9, but you'll have to check. And later on, I will go back onto some of the questions that are on here, and I'll make sure to answer them so I can get that specifically answered.
We have a question from Owen. What is your favorite part of being a police officer?
My favorite part of being a police officer is how it's a different job every single day. Every day that I go into work, I know that it's going to be something new. So I can't plan specifically for my day. I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I have never in 18 years ever had the same day twice, ever. And I love that. And I love going in and talking to people that truthfully need something from us, and I love being able to help them, even if it's in a different way that I do it now, but it's still a very rewarding career. So I would say that it's something different every day, and that it can be a very, very rewarding thing to do.
We have a question from Laura. When does the Huntington Beach Police Department open house usually happen? Typically
we have it in September, so we all know that it's a different time right now. So we don't know when we're going to have it. So if your parents are not watching all of our social media pages, please make sure you do, because we advertise those things a long time in advance. So we have different events such as National Night Out or our open house. So our open house, you can come and visit the police station and visit the horses and see the dogs and see the motorcycles, all the different things that we do. And at National Night Out, we have a lot of the same stuff. So those are usually in the fall, but keep an eye on our social media pages, and we'll let you know when those events are going to be happening again. All right, are we gonna do one more book?
I think we have time for maybe one more short book.
Okay, which one is probably the best? This one? All right, this one's called Bad Guy by Hannah Barnaby. This guy looks pretty. Uh-oh, this one's gonna be scary. I can tell it already. I am a bad guy. He looks kind of bad, huh? He's got a skull on his eye patch, and his cat is not even happy. Alice runs when she sees me coming. Oh no, look, he's chasing her. I wonder if that's his sister. Mom calls me sweetie. Says we're still live. I don't know if we are or not.
Well, we'll say bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming, everyone.